Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the cEDH deck, Lumra, Bellow of the Woods. Lumra is 6 mana for creature with vigilance, reach, power, and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. And when Lumra enters, mill 4 cards, then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This deck aims to win by getting infinite ETB triggers and using combos with lands and stuff that will ping on ETB to win. Let's get into combos and how this deck works. Some of the most important pieces for this deck are land untappers and land sack outlets. Lumra's ability makes the lands enter the battlefield tapped, so something like Tiller Engine or Amulet of Vigor that has a trigger to untap it, or Horizon Explorer Spelunking that just have it enter untapped, are very helpful for being able to have stuff active. In a similar vein, but not quite as good, it's stuff like Nissa or Lotus Cobra that create mana on landfall. And Nissa, especially getting an elf or elemental, can be very relevant. Also important is land sack outlets. Zuran Orb, Sylvan Safekeeper, or especially once you get the combos going, Lotus Field. This will help get lands to the graveyard to be returned, so you just have more available to keep ball rolling. And of course, the ping lands, in this case Sun-Scorched Desert, which when it enters deals 1 damage to a player. And then you'll just sack it and come back. If you've got, if you don't have either of these, but you do have a Lotus Field, them enter at the same time, sacrifice both of them, so they're both in the yard, and you can continue going. Now let's look at some of the... And we do have one way to win through 1 ring protection, if that happens to be relevant, which it isn't as commonly anymore. We've got Gaia Reach Sanitarium for that, to make them all draw out. We can loop our deck with Endurance. Now let's get looking at some of the combos. The most common recognizable piece of this deck is Mirror Pool. You'll use its ability, pay a 4 and a colorless to sack it and create a token of a creature you control. Create a copy of Lumra. It will return, and you can go again. This is one you do need the untapper because it enters tapped. But you have that and enough stuff, especially if you have a sack outlet to sack the other lands to have the mana. That's infinite there. Similarly, and not technically, we're not even requiring another outlet, got Shia, Soul of the Wild, which has non-token creatures you control, your forests, in addition to their other types. And Vesuva have Lumra and be a forest. You play Vesuva and have it enters a copy of Lumra. This doesn't require the 5 mana each time like Mirror Pool, and doesn't require an untapper, but it does require a Shia on the field, which can be a harder requirement than either of those two. Next up, we're going to talk about Food Chain and Command Beacon. With Food Chain, you can run the creatures that you can cast from exile, and that will work. This deck isn't necessary. Even if you don't have Command Beacon, you'll typically get enough mana if you have an untapper. But with Command Beacon, can be guaranteed for sure, where you'll exile Lumra to food chain, put it in the command zone, crack Command Beacon. You'll have 7 green floating for creatures. There's 6 of that. Cast Lumra again, and then just keep going. That's it there. Next up, we're gonna look at some Lumra agnostic win. For this line, you're gonna want, it does want a lot of the same things, like Landsack, Outlet, or the untappers to be especially useful, but it's Shifting Woodland and Aftermath Analyst. This one, you need Aftermath Analyst in the graveyard, either put there to its own ability or milled, and then you need to have Delirium. You'll then activate Shifting Woodland's ability to become a copy of Aftermath Analyst. Activate the ability, paying 4 and sacking it to return all land cards. It sees itself and will return it as well as all other lands. And you can do the same loops as the infinite Lumra ETBs. Now, let's just go through the rest of the deck and see what we've got. Got Eldritch Evolution. Great way to sack Lumra to recast it again if it don't have a loop, as well as tutoring something up like Ashaya, the valid target. Archdruid's Charm, Burgeoning, extra lands is helpful. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, Strip Mine, sacks itself if you don't have an outlet, and to deal with other things like a Cradle or other problematic lands. Wasteland, which is very similar. Crystal Vein, sacks for extra mana. Any land that sacks itself is useful. A Ghost Quarter, slightly worse than a Strip Mine or Wasteland. Basic Forest, run 3 normal basic forests and 3 snow-covered basics. Could just be 6 of either, doesn't really matter. Sowing Mica Spawn lets you get any land you need. Just snow-covered. A Sanctum of Eternity. Doesn't quite work like Command Beacon for food chain loops, but they can let you recast it from other reasons. If you have enough, it could loop. A GSC, grab whatever is relevant. There's Lotus Cobra as the landfall. There's Horizon Explorer as an untapper. The Aftermath Analyst. Just want to grab an Ashaya or an Issa. Tezzeret Cruel Captain. Various relevant artifacts, whether an Amulet of Vigor or Exploration map, or just a Mana Vault to help cast Lumra. Crop Rotation. Gets a land to the yard, gets you a new land. Sylvan Library. This one's my Italian one, but this helps you see more cards. Echoing Deeps. Dude Away. It's interesting. This where Dude Away timing restriction work. Like timing things work. If it's brought back as Lumra thing, it can become a copy of any of the lands that were returned at the same time as it because of timing things. Formidable Speaker. It's a tutor. So you put what you need in the yard, or just something you don't need in your hand to the yard. The Gaia's Cradle. Just gives you mana, Not as many creatures, but still helpful. Castle Garen Brig gives you 6 mana for 4 mana. So, Hickory Woodlot, depletion counters to adds 2 mana and sacks itself once you've done enough. Once you've used it twice. Candelabra of Tanos. Once you untap stuff nicely. Blossoming Tortoise. Famished World Sire. Gets a lot of lands to the yard when you need them there. And can get you a good amount of lands, because this deck is, I believe, 50 lands, I want to say. Arboreal Grazer. Windswept Heath. Ancient Tomb. Lion's Eye Diamond. Helps you cast Lumra faster. Dump extra lands in your hand to the yard to be returned with Lumra. Mana Vault. Elvish Reclaimer. Puts the land to the yard. Gets you a new one. Sol Ring. Boseiju Who Shelters All. Give you some uncounterable instants or sorceries. Any of those that are relevant. Urza's Cave. Sacks to replace itself with another land. Natural Order. Can sack Lumra, so you can recast it, and gets you another green creature. Basic Forest. Invasion of Ikoria. Just tutor up a creature. Basic Forest. Lazotep Quarry. It can sack itself. Or Sunscorched Desert. To copy a creature from your graveyard by exiling it. Snow-covered Forest. Zeus Lost but Seeking. Extra land drops. Pit of Offerings. Can get rid of relevant stuff from opponents' graveyards. Wooded Foothills. Elvish Spirit Guide. City of Traders. Magus of the Candelabra. With a Shaya in play, this can get you infinite mana if you have any lands that produce more than one. Talon Gates. Court of Calling. Field of the Dead. Gets you good amount of zombies. You too. Mycosynth Gardens. Becomes a copy of relevant artifacts. Like Amulet of Vigor or Zornorb, or plenty of good artifacts. Heartwood Storyteller. Don't play too many non-creatures. Don't play too many spells. General will often help us draw cards. Springheart Nantuko. Can also, forgot to pull it out for combos, but if you bestow it onto Lumra, and you have stuff to pay consistently, that's a combo that can go infinite with as well. Finale of Devastation. Exploration. Extra land drops. Urza Saga. Grabs plenty of relevant cards. Havenwood Battleground. Sacks for double green. Gemstone Caverns. Snow-covered Forest. Misty Rainforest. Ice-Still Explorer. Lets you play lands from your graveyard and mills you for each landfall, which is helpful. Horizon of Progress. You can pay 3 and tap it to just put a land your hand onto the battlefield. You can also sack it for a card. Summoner's Pact gets you any green creature you need. It does have the pact, or if you don't pay, you lose, but usually you're going to try to win. Cavern of Souls. Bossing Say. Monk's Diamond. Dumping cards, dumping lands to the bin is helpful. Verdant Catacombs. Tireless Provisioner. That can also function similar to Lotus Cobra Nissa, creating treasures. Nature's Rhythm. It's usable even if you do mill it due to Harmonize. High Market. Sack Lumra to be able to recast it. Deserted Temple. Emergent Zone. Crumbling Vestige. Gets mana when it's played, and if it has an untapper, it's at 2 mana immediately. 6. You put cards to your graveyard to recast your permanents. Helpful. Lotus Petal. Delighted Halfling. Arid Archway. Can bounce a land to your hand. And if you have something untapped, you can just tap it right away. Grim Monolith. Endurance. Useful for when you're doing the Gaia Reach loops. Birds of Paradise. Guildless Commons. Same as Arid Archway. And Dryad Arbor. It's a pretty fun mono green list. It's got, due to it being based off land, it's pretty resilient and hard to interact with. A lot of the time, you need to try to counter Lumra or have Stifles, which are run less than they probably should be. But I enjoy the deck. It's trying to go decently fast. It can be slower than other turbo decks, but nice fast. Like usual, I have a link to my list and to the Lumra Discord in the description down below, so be sure to check those both out. Everyone, like and subscribe. Bye.